What's up guys? In this video, I'm going to be covering everything that you need to know for the medium class in the finals. We'll be going over the best specializations, best weapons, best gadgets, and best playstyles. There's a lot of stuff to cover, but before we get into it, if this video does help you, please do leave a like and a comment. It helps out the video so much. And if you guys want to see me play live and have any questions, the link to my Twitch is down below. I stream just about every other day. But yeah, let's just get into it. So first, we need to understand what the medium class is good at. And honestly, the medium class is kind of a good balance of everything. You have really good damage output with your weapons. You have decent mobility with the jump pad and the zipline. You can provide really good utility to your team with the healing beam and defibrillator. Recon can also be pretty helpful for providing info to your team. And you also have really good area denial with all your mines. And your turrets can also kind of pick up the slack if your teammates aren't really pulling their weight. There's just so much that you can do with the medium class. It's just so well rounded and can fit a ton of different playstyles. However, there are a couple that I feel are most effective right now, at least in this current meta. The first one I'm going to talk about, and one that's probably most well known, is going to be the healing and support playstyle for the medium. And that's why I think right now the best specialization is going to be the healing beam. In this meta where there's a lot of heavies running around, this healing beam is going to be your best friend. You just stick it on a heavy, let them do their thing, and the fight's going to be 10 times easier. Recon can also be pretty good, but the only way I would ever run recon is if I know that there's another media on my team who's running the healing beam. It's just so important right now in this meta to have at least one person running the healing beam. But if you do have someone on your team who is, the recon can be very, very useful for scouting out other teams, seeing where they're pushing. It shows them from all the way across the map, so it can be really good for picking what vault to go to, which cash out to go to set up safely. But like I said, I wouldn't run this over healing beam. I'd only run this if there's another healer on the team already. The turret can also be pretty good, but I feel like it's outclassed by the other two. This one is sort of similar to recon. The only way that I'd run a turret is if someone else on my team is already running healing beam. The turrets are surprisingly pretty good, but still not exactly meta at the moment. Next thing that we're going to talk about is the weapons. This is probably my favorite thing about the medium class. There's a couple of different options that you can use. You know, you're not limited to one specific gun. Right now, for the best weapon, it's kind of a toss-up between the AKM and the FCAR. I feel like it comes down to a couple of different things. If I have a lobby that has a lot of heavy players in it, I'm most likely going to run the AK because it does have that larger magazine size. It's going to be a lot easier to mow down heavy players. But if there's a lot more light and medium players in the lobby, then I'm most likely going to use the FCAR. I do feel like the AK is just slightly better right now in this current meta. It'll be the better option for most people. But if you're like me and have played tons of FPS, you have a lot of hours aim training, and you have that good aim and you can make the shots on the FCAR count, then this could potentially be a slightly better weapon for you. I do think it's a lot easier to aim with this red dot. The visibility is much better. You have a higher headshot damage multiplier, and I just noticed myself securing more kills with it consistently than I do with the AK, especially at range. That's where you can really tell the difference. That's another thing where playstyle comes into the mix. If you're a person who kind of likes to get in there, you like to get right up in their face, then AK is probably going to be better for you. But if you're like me, you kind of like to play it a little bit slower and feel out the fight, play a little bit more methodical, then the FCAR is probably going to be a better option. The Magnum also isn't that bad. You do have to have really good aim to get value out of it. Right now, I'd classify this as kind of a pub weapon. Unless you just have really good aim, then you can make it work for sure. It's a high risk, high reward type weapon, so only the best of the best players are going to be able to get the good value out of it. Then shotgun isn't bad either, but I do feel like it's outclassed by the AK and the FCAR. But the problem is you have to be right up in their face, and that's where the heavies get the most value. At that point, you'd be better off just keeping your distance and spraying with an AK or an FCAR. So right now, current meta, I wouldn't use the shotgun. Grenade launcher also isn't bad, but it's kind of a meme weapon. And then finally, the riot shield, just like the last one, it's just kind of a meme weapon. You can have a lot of fun with it. I probably only use it in pubs. I wouldn't use it in ranked. Next up, we're going to talk about the gadgets. So this is what I like to run personally. I like to run Zipline, jump pad, and defibrillator. This fits my playstyle really well. The playstyle that I've sort of adopted in this game is sort of an enabler playstyle where I'm not the one going in first on my team. I'm not the one making huge plays, but that's not to say I'm not doing anything. I'm still dumping out really high amounts of damage. I'm getting a lot of kills, but I'm doing it smart. I'm playing slow, and I'm setting up opportunities for my teammates to really get value. So the zipline is good for just getting your teammates around the map, especially your heavies, because they don't have any movement abilities. So I like to run this to get the high ground first before anyone else in the lobby so that we can set up early. It's also good for third partying and rotating on top of teams so you can get really good angles on them. The zipline isn't necessarily a must-use item. If you are running a composition with double heavy, then you probably do want to use the zipline. The only thing I'd change this out for right now probably be the gas mine. The gas mine is very good at denying space. You can put it behind doors, you can put it on the cash out. Once again, this one isn't a must run either, but if I'm running a team with a light who has mobility, another medium who has mobility, or just one heavy, then I might go ahead and pick mines as long as the other players on my team do have that mobility. Then on to the next two, and these are things that I think every single medium player should be using. That's going to be the jump pad and the defibrillator, especially defibrillator. This thing is so strong right now. You're pretty much trolling if you're playing medium and not using it. You basically get a free reset every single fight with this thing, and then you couple that with the healing beam. You top them off to full HP as soon as you defib them, and it's like they never even died in the first place. It's basically like a 4v3 53. And the other one that all medium classes should be running right now is the jump pad. For mediums, the jump pad is going to be your main form of mobility. It's much better than relying on the zipline for your mobility. It's a lot faster to place down. You can cover distance a lot quicker, and there's so much more outplay potential with the jump pad. If the fight goes south and you guys start losing, you need to reposition, throw down a quick jump pad, get on top of the roof. It's just the most versatile, so you want to make sure you're running jump pad and defibrillator on medium pretty much at all times. You could potentially swap the defib out if you have another medium on your team who's running defib, but you're still losing out on a ton of value. But yeah, that pretty much covers the basics of the class. Now I just want to touch on playstyles a little bit more because not everybody's going to have the same playstyle as me. So I just want to give the rundown on a couple of playstyles I think are good for this class and which weapons and gadgets you could use now that you know a little bit more about them. So like I said, my playstyle is sort of like an enabler. I set up my teammates in good positions and support them so that they can make plays and get the max value out of their kits. That's why I have the zipline to secure good positions. I have the jump pad to get them high ground, or if I need to get out in a sticky situation. And I also have the defib to res them and the healing beam to top them off after res and make sure they're always at full HP. And I generally like to run the F card because I'm usually not in the very front of the fight. I'm usually in the back line, kind of observing and seeing what's going on in the fight. So if I do need to use my defib or my healing beam, I can see both my teammates, I can see their health, I can see what position they're in and support them properly from there. But the most important tip that I can give you guys for medium, and probably the most important thing, is to always make sure that you're supporting your teammates while pumping out the most amount of damage that you can. This means that you kind of have to sit back just a little bit and keep an eye on what's going on in the fight. Keep track of your teammates and where they are. So if you see one get low, you shoot a quick heal on him, or if you see one go down, you know exactly where he is, you know where to res him at. But you can't just sit in the back and be a support player. You are going to have to be shooting your gun and dumping out as much damage as you can. This is going to make it much easier for your light or your heavy to go in and secure the kills, which they're much better at doing. Going in frontline and trying to secure as many kills as you can isn't really the strong suit of the medium class. Good positioning is going to be very important for medium. It's going to be a little bit hard at first to figure out that balance of being passive and being aggressive, but that will come with time and experience. And then a couple of other playstyles I'll cover. These are going to assume that you already have another medium on your team that is running defib and healing beam. The first one could be kind of like an off-site player. You know, you're running your turret. If you're playing off-site, you're probably not in the very front of the fight, so I'd probably run an F car. The gas mine would pair really well with this. I'd still run jump pad. I feel like this is a necessity right now. And defib, you could potentially switch this out. You'll be losing out on a lot of value. But if I were to switch it out with something, it would probably be either like the gas grenade, which once again is really good for area denial. You can do a lot of damage with that and force people off of the objective. Or even the APS turret's not bad to place down on site. And then the third kind of playstyle that I would go with would be the recon. If you're doing this, you're kind of playing like an info getter for your team. Like I touched on earlier, recon goes all the way across the map. For weapon, once again, it's largely going to come down to preference and what's being played in the lobby. If you kind of play back a little bit and there's not that many heavies in your lobby, the F car can be a really good choice. But if there are a lot of heavies in the lobby and you want to play a little bit more aggro, AK is going to be the better choice. As far as gadgets go, it's going to be personal preference for this. If you have teammates with mobility, I'd probably run a gas mine. As long as you don't need that zip line. Once again, jump pad, pretty much a necessity on this class so you can have your own mobility. And then third, as I've said multiple times in this video, defib is going to give you the most value by default. But if you do already have that other medium, you could switch this out if you really wanted to. I'd probably switch it out with gas grenade. But yeah, guys, that about covers it for the medium class. If you guys have any questions or if there's anything that I missed, please leave them down in the comments below. If you learned anything from this video, remember to leave a like and a comment. And don't forget to subscribe because I have a lot of finals content coming out. And if you guys want to see me play live, you want to see how I play the medium class, the link to my Twitch is down below. I stream just about every other day, so make sure you follow that. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.